Hey everybody, this is Dominic DeAngelo of adfreeshows.com. Today's date is February 28th, the final day of February, and it is 2023, and I am happy to have with me here for a live interview, Q&A. I've done a couple press scrums, media scrums with him before, but I've never done an interview, so I'm happy to have with me here the Deathmatch King himself, Mr. Indie Wrestling. Go by any nickname you want, maybe not Zack Ryder, but we got Matt Cardona here.
The indie god, the Deathmatch King, always ready, Matt Cardona. Yeah. Rest in peace, Zack Ryder.
Is he dead? Is he dead? Can you confirm?
I don't know. I mean, WWE let the trademark lapse. I applied for it. I wasn't going to be Zack Ryder, but I was going to use it. I wanted to do Matt Cardona versus Zack Ryder, a cinematic match, or do a 2-pack in my Major Bendy's line, Matt Cardona versus Zack Ryder. But I knew there was a chance WWE would do something about it. They contacted my lawyer, Mr. Michael Dawkins.
Oh, the gimmick attorney.
That's right. And then I backed off. I'm not fighting WWE over that. And then I just saw that they reapplied for the trademark. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
If you, so obviously the Taker fought Brian Lee in SummerSlam 94.
Yes.
Who would be your Brian Lee as a Zack Ryder if you're?
I just tweeted this out. Is there going to be a fake Zack Ryder? Well, I'm kidding. Right? There's not going to be a fake Zack Ryder like the Diesel and Razor.
Diesel and Razor.
But who from NXT is going to play the fake Zack Ryder? I mean, Robbie E has been Robert Stone's been the fake Zack Ryder before in TNA. But I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just having fun with this. There's not going to be a fake Zack Ryder, but I don't know what they want with the IP. I mean, I got my royalty checks last year. It wasn't much, so it's not like they're making merch. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, so hey, where did the origins of Zack Ryder come? The name itself come from? Did you facilitate and help kind of picking it, or did they kind of pick that for you? How'd that kind of come about?
So myself and Brian Myers, we were the Major brothers, Brett and Brian Majors, and we aligned ourselves with Edge, became the Edge Heads, and so that's a Sunday at a pay-per-view Armageddon. We had Monday off, and Tuesday we go to SmackDown, and in a meeting, Vince found out we weren't really brothers. So he said, oh, well, they got to be the real names, not your real names, but like your fake real names. So like, oh shit, we got to think of some real names. And this is like, pressure's on because this is going to be with us for the rest of our career. And we're thinking, oh, we're with Edge now. We're going right to the top. Yeah. The Zach was from Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell. And I'm not quite sure where I got the Ryder from. We were just listing first and last names and putting them together and seeing what sounded best. And it took a while for me to be comfortable with the Zack Ryder name. And now, I spent so many years as Zack Ryder, but now these past couple of years as Matt Cardona, like the Zack Ryder thing, it's weird when someone calls me Zack Ryder.
I feel weird thinking about it. Like, I don't even think of you as Zack Ryder anymore, really, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to myself. I'm going to do the old Barry Horowitz pat in the back because, I definitely reinvented myself outside WWE. Listen, it's a lot easier now. 10 years ago, if someone got fired from WWE, their career would go to die. You'd go to the indies to rot. You would just change the spelling of your names, and that would be it. It's over. But now that's it. It's over. But now with the independents being so hot and social media and streaming, I'll do a show in New Jersey, take that GCW death match. Really, it's just a indie in New Jersey and Atlantic City. But because of social media, because of Fight TV, because of streaming, people are watching all over the world. And that particular match trended #1 over the UFC and the Olympics, which is pretty nuts.
That's wild. That is super wild. And, I think what's pretty neat, too, is just your ability. You've touched upon it before, and you've in several countless interviews about, like, going out, being a free agent. And you really, I mean, were the pioneer for, like, the social media personality and the video personality of a pro wrestler, of getting your name out there on your own brand in your own creative way, like that. Like, now everybody should be doing it, but a lot of wrestlers don't take advantage of that as much. But it's kind of wild to would you call that maybe one of your biggest career highlights, or do you kind of have that ranked somewhere? Because you got so many different things that you've done. It's like,
are we talking about like the YouTube shows, the True Island Story?
YouTube shows, and then kind of being the pioneer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that show changed my career. If it wasn't for that show, I wouldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been released in 2011, probably went to the Indies and died. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Been the Ice Z-Man or something for a couple of years. But no, I knew I wasn't happy with my spot. And this is before the negative tweet became popular, which I think I also invented in like 2012 after I got married. So I think I'm the pioneer of that as well. But I knew I had to do something to change my position. You could pitch stuff all day, it just wasn't working. So I took it upon myself to try to get noticed, try to create buzz. And I knew I was going to either get noticed and pushed or noticed and fired. But either way, I was going to get buzz. And luckily, I didn't get fired yet. I got fired about a decade later. But, you know, and I wasn't the first person on social media. I wasn't the first person with the web show. But I think I was the first person that was blending the character and the person. Right. And the web show was so poorly done. So poorly done. It wasn't well done at all. The people, they saw that. They saw it was me doing it. I was writing it. I was filming it. I was doing it all myself. You could see this wasn't something I was doing at SmackDown or Raw and then like they were editing in Stanford. You know, I was doing it myself. And I think the fans appreciated that. And they saw that I was just a diehard fan just like them. And they were rooting for me. And 2011 was a crazy year. Definitely a highlight year of my career. But luckily, you know, I surpassed that definitely in 2022.
100%. It's just like all the different things that you've done from being an NWA champion to like even we have a question right here, a live question here from James Elkroy of Kickout Crew. He asks, what was it like doing the wrestling showcase, being surrounded by us fans and that incredible talent in Chicago? I thought that whole show and presentation went really, really well. That's a Josh Chernoff production. Who you're connected with.
Yes.
Talk about being that kind of thing, because that's where it was a great like little event that was just for that weekend. And
sure enough, you know, I've worked with them before. Now I'm working with them with the Premier Streaming Network. Everybody check that out. All the major pod stuff over there on the Premier Streaming Network. But, you know, he presented this opportunity to me, this tournament, and I thought it was a great idea. And then I got injured. And then I'm like, oh, shit. Like, okay, if I'm able to come back by this tournament, it's going to be my first match basically back. And I have to do, if I'm going to win 3 matches in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. You know, that's kind of like how I got injured because I wrestled twice in a day. And after that, I said, I'm never doing this twice in a day bullshit. And then I get back from my injury, I wrestle 3 times in a day to win. But it was a great tournament. Very, very well done. You could watch it on the Premier Streaming Network. And I'm still the champ. I wear that title around all the time. I'm going to be at the Arnold Sports Festival this weekend with it. It was a really cool event, and I can't wait for the next one. And I guess hopefully I retain the title.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, is like it kind of all the different belts that you've had. It's like getting that collected up and making sure that you're retaining them. It definitely like puts you in a different level of the other indie, like the next level of indie kind of stuff.
Well, I'm the indie god. See, I'm the indie god. That's right.
And I'll tell you what, the reason I reached out, that inspired me to like reach out to get you on here, was your Indiana Jones attire, like for that stuff. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, so that was something I was just gonna do as like a one-off. You know, I made the shirt Indie God. I was gonna do it as a one-off, and it got so much of a positive response. I'm like, well, I might stick with this for a while. So I wore it last weekend. I defended the Chris Jericho Oceanic title, wear my Indie God gear. So I'm gonna try this Indie God thing out. Maybe make a figure out of it. Let's merchandise this son bitch.
Why the hell not, man? Yeah. Is there? So you did Ghostbusters before too. Is there another pop culture? I mean, maybe it has to line up with like something that happens in your career. But is there another one that you want to kind of pay homage to? Another pop culture thing?
I've done like a Star Wars gear before. I've done a Back to the Future gear, like you said, Ghostbusters. I've never dabbled in Ninja Turtles. So
you know, I was thinking about that as I was like writing questions down. Yeah. Maybe Ninja Turtles. Who would you be? Donatello, Michelangelo? Where'd you go?
Oh, I don't know. I think Michelangelo was definitely my favorite as a kid, but Donatello is that purple. I'm known for the purple, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna wear like a fucking, that the eyepiece out there. I'm not gonna. So it's a little too goofy. But
headband, you do a headband, maybe.
Maybe a headband. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. That would be not bad. Okay, so. Something else I wanted to touch upon, but Pastor Tim asks here, I loved your run in GCW and how much of a negative response you were able to elicit from that audience. Can you talk about that a little bit and how and why you made that decision to work with GCW?
Yeah, so I'm released from WWE, I think it's like March or April 2020. And there was nothing to do. There were no indies. The world had shut down. And if there was an indie, it was like social distancing with the mask. I'm like, I just did what? A decade plus WWE. My first show back to be some fucking indie with social distancing and mess. Like, that's pathetic. So I did AEW for a cup of coffee. and that didn't work out. But I didn't know what to do afterwards. I'm like, I don't want to. I need to find myself. I need to figure out what to do. Luckily, I started with Impact Wrestling, and they were great. But this is still no fans, just closed sets. And I started doing indies a little bit more. But like, who was I as a character? Right? I knew who I wanted to be, but it's hard to like. You can't just turn heel on the indies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There has to be something. There has to be a spark, right? So I knew I needed something. I didn't know what it was. And then the opportunity presented itself to do this death match with Nick Gage at GCW. And my knee-jerk reaction was, no fucking way. I'm not wrestling this fucking criminal with no teeth. This guy's on dark side of the ring. I can't even get through it because it's disgusting. I can't wrestle this fucking guy.
The David Arquette stuff too on top of that.
Right, exactly. And then I thought, you know what? I bet a lot of people want to see Nick Gage kill Zack Ryder. Carve him up with that pizza cutter. And I said, I can create some interest here. And made a little deal with Brett Lauderdale, a deal with the devil. It was just gonna be 3 shows. I was gonna go in as the masked man, supposed to be Moxley, lay him out, unmasked, be me, supposed to have the death match, and then one more match. And that was supposed to be it. But it took off. I don't think myself nor GCW could have predicted how incredible the response was. I win the title. The fans are throwing garbage in the ring. I know Dave Meltzer said it was fake. I was in the fucking ring. That was not fake, pal. I had to prove it, and I was scared to fucking death. Okay, and if you go back and you watch the clip, someone threw a pizza cutter at me. All right, so we knew we were onto something, and I've been with GCW ever since. I love it. I think GCW is the number 3 promotion in the United States. I think it's hard to argue that. I mean, who else runs more shows in more locations besides WWE and AEW than GCW? I can't think of one. Every weekend, coast to coast. I've done shows in New York. I've done shows in California. I've done shows in fucking Vegas, Atlanta, Detroit, all for GCW. I went to fucking England for GCW. So GCW, it's in that weird spot because it's definitely an independent where there's no real backer, but fuck, it's definitely the number 3.
And you think about it too, it's just like they're able to. They obviously they have the extreme kind of brand to themselves, but they branched out of that in a lot of ways where they get guys like who shows up, like Maven shows up on a random show,
right.
Or like you have other people, Jeff Jarrett obviously like
right.
getting in the mix, and it's just like not only are they benefiting from it, but the other stars that maybe have like an established reputation that they want to kind of change a little bit, get a little bit of a rub from GCW too in their own way.
I think GCW, it's definitely much like ECW, where so many people thought ECW was blood and guts, and yeah, there was some of it, but it was the luchadors, the international stars, the technical wrestling. GCW has all that. You sit through a GCW show, it has fucking everything. I don't care what flavor of ice cream you like. There's a lot of fucking flavors there, and you're gonna like something.
Absolutely. Now, Joey Janela, I think, just recently said on, I think it was Conan, he said on his podcast that Nick Gage has taken a little bit of a lighter schedule with GCW as, the defending champion and all that stuff. But is there certain plans or ideas that you kind of still want to accomplish in GCW?
I mean, I want to be the GCW champion again. I mean, after I won the championship, I made this nice fucking purple spinner with the Velcro strap, right, like a real superstar. And then I lost the belt that night. So I'd like to win the title back so I can, reintroduce that version of the championship. But I'm done with deathmatch wrestling. I mean, I beat the king. I dethroned the king, beat him at his own game, trended #1 over the UFC and the Olympics. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm retired as king. But, I call myself the Terry Funk of GCW. I'm helping all these young kids, give them the rub, teach them how to grab a hold.
Reinventing yourself. Great time. Terry did that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, GCW is so much fun. I love going. I'm not going to do all their shows because Brett pays me like shit, but I will do enough of them to keep that buzz going.
Right. You got to keep the buzz happening.
Sure.
Okay. So obviously GCW, but I think one of your starting career highlights was you retired Tommy Dreamer in the ECW. ECW original.
I'm an ECW original, just like Tommy, and I retired him. It's fucking 2023. He's still wrestling. So is there no
he's like Kiss
integrity? Like he's not a man of his word. I don't get it.
Right. Now, okay, I have to ask this. Cardona, that's an Italian last name. I'm DeAngelo. I was a big FBI fan growing up. Did you ever have any aspirations as a young fan joining the FBI by chance?
Absolutely not. No, I'm Italian. Like, I'm Italian, but I'm not like waving the flag wearing the gold chain Italian. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Sopranos
I like chicken
Italian.
parm Italian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
That's
get
about
that.
it.
I get that. I had to ask it though. All right. Let's take another question here from Eddie. Let's see here. Eddie Prather asked, which wrestling figures would be on your personal Mount Rushmore? He asked this to Brian Myers last time too. So
That's a tough one. I will say
it doesn't have to be your priciest ones or nothing like that.
Yeah,
but your own.
for sure. Because some of my priciest ones, like for instance, I have this Rhythm and Blues Greg the Hammer Valentine unreleased, worth a lot of money. But I mean, if I see Greg at WrestleCon, I probably won't even go up and say hi. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I walk past him, sure, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see, shake Greg the Hammer Valentine's hand. Nothing against Greg. It's just that the figure is what I want. That holy grail. I would say Mount Rushmore. I would say it's tough, man.
It is.
Let me think on this for a second. All right, I'm gonna go now. Listen, I can't believe I'm leaving this guy out, but Macho Man I'm gonna have to leave out, even though he's my absolute favorite. But Hulk Hogan, LJN. I think everyone who had LJNs had that Hulk Hogan.
You're right.
And then I'll go Hasbro Ultimate Warrior, the first one in the green and the pink.
Oh,
I think a lot of people had that. Let's go the first ever Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is a Bad Boys Jax.
I know that
Bone
one.
Crunch in action.
Was that the one with the T-shirt? Or no, he had the stars, right, on his boots.
He had the stars on the boots. Yeah, it's
right.
a Series 4. They re-released it a million fucking times. And then Mount Rushmore. Let me get one more guy here. I'm gonna do. It's gonna be a Macho Man, but it's gonna be a Mattel. I believe it's Defining Moments, where it's in WrestleMania 7 gear. It was the first Macho Man that was made for so long because Jax couldn't get the rights to Macho Man. They couldn't do it. So it was a big get for Mattel to get it. So I'll say that Macho Man, Mattel Defining Moments, WrestleMania 7.
I tell you what, that's a good one. That's a good one. Those are good lineups.
That's off the top of my head too. I didn't really think about it.
I was like, when I set the interview up with Brian, I was like, I want to ask Brian this question. I was talking to my brother Marcus. I was like, because we had Bone Crunchers growing up. That was our main figures growing up as kids. But I remember you tweeting out about the Jeff Jarrett figure that was originally Owen Hart from the Nation. That they just switched the heads and stuff like that. I thought that was just fine. I had no issue with that at all.
Well, I mean, they're teaming up. There's a problem because
that
are they supposed to be like the DOA? Are they supposed to be twin brothers? A little weird.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So another question here. Now this is from actually WrestleZone's editor Bill Pritchard. He asks, okay, so obviously you did a lot of teasing during Royal Rumble season that you might be coming out and all that stuff. What about, have you kind of thought about like pointing at signs to indicate WrestleMania or anything like that as a build up to coming? Just random signs could be it.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, the Royal Rumble thing, that was never in the plans, but there were all these rumors about it. I don't know where they started, but first of all, if it was true, I wasn't going to confirm it in one of these goddamn interviews or on social media. And I knew it wasn't true, but I wasn't going to confirm that it wasn't true because I want people to keep talking about me. So I just kept egging it on, That was it.
I don't think that's a problem.
I don't think so either.
And so another buddy, Robert DeFelice, he's asked, okay, so Chelsea Green back in WWE, obviously. Now, does she have any like legitimate Karen kind of tendencies that you notice on when it comes to what she's kind of done, just knowing her as a real wife?
Well, I mean, she definitely doesn't like when I get all the wrestling figures in the mail and it's all these different packages coming and none's for her. I'm like, well, babe, did you order anything? Because you didn't order anything. Nothing's just gonna show up at the door. So you got to order something for there to be a package for you. So I think sometimes she gets annoyed. There's a lot of figures for me and nothing for her.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Now I'll tell you what, another extreme guy, ECW original that you've been beefing up with is Bully Ray. He's got a little bit of Karen tendencies. I think he could be an issue at like, a grocery store or anything like that, restaurant perhaps. Is there what kind of do you want to solve more here with Bully Ray? Because you fought him in the ECW arena.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that feud's still kind of going, man.
Yeah, Bully, he was living up to his name. He was bullying me online. He was extreme shaming me,
Mm-hmm.
saying I wasn't extreme, saying I wasn't hardcore. I think at the ECW arena, I proved that I was. Was he victorious? Okay, fine. But yeah, the book is not over between Bully and Matt Cardona. We'll see what's next. I would love to get my hands on Bully again. Maybe now that Devon's free, maybe a little Dudley Boys or Team 3D. We can't call them Dudley Boys. Team 3D against the major players, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. I'd love to see that.
I would definitely love to see that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, one of my big things that I really enjoyed was your WrestleMania 32 win, winning that Intercontinental title. Can you talk about the interaction that you had with Scott Hall a little bit afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, and it's well documented, I was a huge Razor Ramon fan. I was at WrestleMania 10. I saw him win the ladder match, and I don't know if it was that year or the year later. Anyway, at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island at the merch stand, there was this. You could meet wrestlers, and they would you had to buy it, and then they would put it in this little like picture frame. I still have it to this day. It's me with Razor Ramon, and I'm holding his Intercontinental title. And I knew once I won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania in a ladder match that I needed to find him right away, and I needed to recreate that picture. But this time, it would be him holding my Intercontinental title. And I got goosebumps just talking about it right now. Very special moment, special picture. And that's something that, that's real life. That's no team of writers creating this. This is I was at WrestleMania 10, whenever that was, 1994.
Mm-hmm.
And all those years later, the match that I watched, I didn't win the ladder match for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. And then I got to recreate that picture with Scott Hall. It was an incredible moment for me.
Talk about Scott Hall a little bit into his maybe his influence to you, but just overall, he's my all-time favorite wrestler too. So that's who got me into the everything that I do now is him. So talk about him as an influence as a wrestler, but also just his influence in the industry. I just think he was just so underrated for what he did and the impact that he's left on the business.
Yeah, definitely so underrated. He was one of the first guys, he was the bad guy, right? But he was one of the first. He was so cool that you had to like him. He was just even now, I grow up my chest hair to be like Scott Hall, be more manly, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was just amazing in the ring too. Such a solid performer, could go with anybody, whether it be someone like 1-2-3 Kid or Shawn Michaels or or Big Daddy Cool Diesel. He was always having kick-ass matches. And he was always super cool to me when I met him while I was in the business, giving me advice. We'd have, whether it be backstage or he'd text me, call me, whatever. So to have that connection with him was super special. And then, like I said, to have that moment in that picture was a dream come true for
That's
me.
Like a full circle moment, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right. Let me see here. Yes. Another question. What would make you give up your collection if you had to do anything that would be all right, I gotta let this go. It's been a good run. Is there anything? Nothing. I can't blame you.
No, I mean, listen, there are certain things in my collection that I've sold and then I rebought and I sold. There are certain things that I have now that I'm sure I'll sell, but those LJNs, Hasbros, those Bone Crunchers, I think they'll be collecting dust after I'm buried because I'm not getting rid of them.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. I got two of them. I got a Bruno one right there, and then I have a Roddy Piper. Those are the only LJN ones I have.
Okay, those are good ones.
Yeah, those are too bad. I like them. So, okay. The other thing I wanted to ask, starting off, you collected since you were a kid and stuff like that. How much apprehension did you have of kind of sharing that when you got into the business? That you were collecting figures and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, even in high school, it was not cool to be collecting wrestling toys. So I definitely wasn't telling people about it. I was on the message boards, but nobody knew who I was. And, I was at school, not telling my friends about it, not telling my girlfriend about it. If I was buying figures, it was for my younger brother, but I was really playing with them. Or if I was at Toys R Us, I'd always ask for a gift receipt because I was afraid the cashier would think they were for me. But yeah, when I got to WWE, there's no fucking way I could be like, hey, Bob Holly, I just found your figure at Target. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It shit my bag, kicked me out of the locker room. But I don't blame guys like that. It was a different era, right? They didn't grow up idolizing these guys. Watched them on Saturday mornings, wrestling with the wrestling buddies, wrestling with the figures. chasing after the ice cream man for the ice cream bars. They didn't grow up with that. I did. And I was, myself, Brian Myers, a couple others were like the first generation of those guys. Now it's like, Johnny Gargano is dressed up as Shawn Michaels and Shawn's taking a picture with him. You know what I'm saying? The business has changed, right? So it's a different era. But yeah, we were the first of this generation to break into the business where there's no fucking way. Like, hey, Taker,
Yeah, you know what? Guess what I got?
I just got your brand new classic superstar. But it's funny because this is a funny story. When I proposed to Chelsea Green, it's before WrestleMania 35, and I had to bring the ring with me, and I knew not that she was going to look through my bags, but like, you never know, like maybe she's looking for a toothbrush. There's the ring. Or if I hide in the hotel room, maybe she's looking, you never know. So I brought my bone crunching action Undertaker casket and I hid the ring in there because I thought there's no fucking way she's going to look in the casket. There's no fucking way she's, one of Matt's fucking toys, right? She's not going to open the casket. It's not like she's looking for the fucking tombstone and shovel accessory. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I actually did tell, or I think the Miz like forced me to tell Undertaker that. I think he popped for it or thought I was fucking nuts. One or the other. But that's something I definitely wouldn't have told him in 2007. No way.
My issue I had with that casket is you couldn't fit a lot of those bone crunchers in there. You had
especially to, like Yokozuna's not fitting.
No,
he's not fitting. No way.
No way.
No way.
And I was always paranoid about like breaking, like not bone crunching, obviously bone crunch, but like the limbs and stuff like that. I didn't want to get him out of shape or nothing like that.
Right. No, 100%.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. One of the final questions I had for you was, okay, 2023, obviously 2022 is huge. What kind of more do you want to accomplish in this year as things get going? You're really establishing yourself not only as like just the top indie god, but like free agent. You're cutting your own swath in a lot of ways. So what do you want to do here in 2023?
Yeah, listen, I'd be lying if I said I had this master plan. I don't. 2022 was incredible. And 3 of those months, I was out with an injury, but I wasn't out because I still made all the fucking towns. So it wasn't like I was out, but I didn't wrestle for 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a little nerve-wracking. Like, what am I going to do to top 2022, right? I mean, my calendar is like fully booked. Like right now, it's the end of February. In my mind, it's the end of August because I'm full every week until the end of August. So I'm thinking, all right, well, fuck. Like, I'm nervous. There's probably someone out there like fucking trying to fill up their March bookings. I'm like, fuck. I have 2 weekends in September and like, why aren't they full yet? But I'm like, wait, calm down, Matt. It's fucking February. Chill. They'll fill up. That's just how I operate. Yeah, I don't know. I want to prove that you don't necessarily have to be. Listen, WWE, AEW, they're number 1 and 2. Which one's 1, which one's 2? That's up to you guys, right? But I want to prove that you don't need one of those to be a successful pro wrestler if you do the fucking work. You have to do the fucking work. It's not going to happen if you don't. I mean, there are guys who were released the day I was and afterwards who haven't done jack shit, and I have no simpy, as Scott Steiner would say. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I have no simpy.
No simpy at all.
No simpy at all. Just fucking do the fucking work. Hustle. Work your ass off. You talked about it earlier. Social media. Fucking. It's free. It's free advertisement. It's free advertisement. TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's free. Double-edged sword. It's free for everybody. How are you going to stand out? I don't fucking know. I'm just figuring it out. I'm throwing shit against the wall. Sometimes it doesn't, click. Like, ask fucking Michael Dawkins how many fucking nicknames and trademarks I'm wasting the money on. Some of them I don't even use, right? Because I think of something. Dawkins fucking register for this. I send him thousands of dollars. Some of them take off. Deathmatch King, Indie God. I think I'm like the agent. Never fucking use it. Spent $1,000 on it, but you never know. You never know, and that's what Always Ready is all about. It is not just a hashtag or a fucking gimmick. It's the way I live my life, my career. I'm always ready for every opportunity. And if I fail, that's on me. I don't want to fucking make excuses. I don't want to blame anybody else. I want to, be accountable for everything. And that's just how I live my life. And yeah, I mean, 2023, it's going to be busy. What's going to happen? I don't know. Even like I said, like I thought this indie god gear would be a little fucking cheap LOL thing. I'm like, oh, it might take off, might turn into something. I don't know. Maybe I'll make an action figure. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm always ready for any and all opportunities. And I'm loving what I'm doing. This has been the most fun of my career. And, let's see what happens next.
hypothetically speaking, if you did not sign with another company for the rest of your career, but you just flourished on the indies like this, would you be A-okay with that?
Yeah, listen, I'd also be lying if I said I never wanted to wrestle at Madison Square Garden again. Or I never wanted to have a WrestleMania moment. Of course I do.
Yeah.
Right. Of course I do 100%. What I'm doing now, and from the day I got released, I never had the mindset, oh, what can I do to get back to WWE, or what can I do to have AEW notice me? No, I'm doing what I'm doing for me. I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm trying to prove myself right, my fans right. I feel like I have. I feel like I've gotten some people to jump on board along the way. Great. Glad to have you. But it's not about you. It's about me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's next, but I have a lot of unfinished business, whether it be just with this business, with WWE. Let's see what happens, right? Right now, this has been the most successful time of my career. I don't care how you define success, accolades, money, happiness, however you define it. 2022 is my most successful year of my career. And I'm only 37 years old. I feel like I'm still in my prime, maybe haven't even hit it yet. So time is on my side, especially when you see guys like fucking Jericho absolutely killing it.
Right.
I feel like I'm still a rookie.
And you mentioned it too. It's like, what defines success? I think in a lot of ways for wrestling, moments really define success.
Sure, and wrestling is moments, right?
Moments. That's what people remember. I remember that NWA title behind you, and I remember that WrestleMania 32 moment, and you going off on the Deathmatch King, being all bloodied and the garbage being thrown in the ring, all that stuff. So, like, if you look at that perspective, you're on the right track, man.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Matt Hardy on his podcast. You're chasing that next moment. Mm-hmm. It's all right. What can I do to get to that next moment? And listen, it's not that I'm not grateful. Of course I am. It's not that I'm not satisfied. Of course I am. But I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting more. No. And aspiring for more and pushing yourself for more. 2022 was great. Awesome. But that's in the rearview mirror now, pal. What am I going to do to get to that next moment? We'll find out.
100%. All right, what's going on? What do you got to plug here? What's it?
Oh,
what do you
fuck.
Have?
I mean, we could have another 30 minutes plugging shit. I think listen, you know where I am on social media. If not, you can find me. My toy line, Major Bendy's, also the Major Wrestling Fear podcast. Myself and Brian Myers. We have the podcast every Friday about wrestling figures, wrestling collectibles, and we start our own toy line called Major Bendy's. We've done guys like Jeff Jarrett, Conrad, Ric Flair. Right now, the set that we have available, it's on majorpodmerch.com. We have Colt Cabana, we have Effie, we have Chelsea Green, Gangrel. I think there's some Conrads left over, but we have some big signees for the rest of the year. But we're trying not to announce things prematurely. We're trying to wait till things are in stock and then put them up instead of like, here's the artwork. You're going to see it in fucking 8 months or, but I say that. And then I'm going to say, but starting this Friday, there's a 2-week pre-order for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, so he's not in stock yet. So 2 weeks. Let's sell as many as we fucking can, get Hacksaw some money. And then that'll be out in a couple of months. But we're really excited about that. Major Bendy's, and we'll be at WrestleCon live. It's really our 16th live show, but we're calling it Live 2000 because WrestleMania 16 was in Cali. It was WrestleMania 2000. It's sold out. And the only place to watch it is Premier Streaming Network. And we're going to have some reveals for upcoming, not necessarily Major Bendy's, but some other Major Pod wrestling figures. So stay tuned for that.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I tell you what, you've done a lot of interviews with I call him the prodigy at WrestleZone, Colin Tessier. He's a big fan of yours.
Yeah, so, great guy.
Yeah, he put you over big time. So this was a good time, man. I thank you for taking the time to do this with me. And the after shows people too.
And you guys are sending me my my PayPal. It's at bookmattcardona@gmail.com.
There we go.
And I would tell people to try to book me, but I'm booked up, so don't even wait.
You're all booked. You're at least through August.
Unless you got fucking some September, October, November. There's people who are like, hit me up for March. Like, bro, come on, March.
What are you thinking here?
What are you thinking, pal? I don't even.
I have been gone for a reason here.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, if you want to try. Book Matt Cardona at gmail.com.
There we go. Hey, Ad Free Shows members, we'll see you next time here on adfreeshows.com.